G'day guys, been a while since I posted anything, and I just picked up this old amplifier, so I figured this would be a great one for the channel, seeing as I haven't powered it up, and I don't think it's been powered up for a very long time. It was sold as a early 100 watt slave amplifier. I have had it apart, like I have had the chassis out of the case, but I put it back in for the video so you could see it assembled. It looks to be home built, and based on all the dates I could find, it's all sort of around the mid-70s, probably around 1975, 1976. Now, from a few sources, the kit that is in there is not one of your typical ETI kits or pre-built Autotech modules, but it's apparently a kit that Dick Smith Electronics used to use. However, there is a marking on the board. The only real marking I've seen on the main amp board is Phantom. Now, there was a company called Phantom that did, based in Sydney, that did audio equipment back in the 70s. So I'm wondering if that module is out of one of their pieces of equipment, because I don't think this is one of theirs. It looks to be too home built for that. But I think we should get on with it now. I haven't powered this up. I don't think it's been powered up for a while. I'll just spin it. Oops, excuse me. I'll just spin it around. Now, it's a mono amplifier. It's got two XLR speaker outputs, pretty much par for the course for the era. They're both in parallel, so yeah, you've just got two speaker outputs in parallel, a single XLR input, wired pin 3 hot unbalanced, and a XLR LNE power input. Now, these I believe aren't approved anymore for mains use, but this is what it has, and I actually do have part of a LNE connector, the mating connector here. I haven't got the shell. I did have the shell, but I don't know where I've put it. But I did have this, and it had a tiny little bit of cable attached to it. It was cut off another cord, I think. Well, it was cut off the cord that it was originally soldered to. And rather than desolder and resolder all those, I just put a little terminal block and some extra wires and put it into the quick test. And the quick test is plugged into my dim bulb tester, and the dim bulb tester is plugged into the wall. So what we're going to do is we're just going to power this thing up on the dim bulb, make sure there's no, big, that's a 60 watt globe there, so we'll make sure it sort of goes bright then dim as the main power supply caps charge. And of course, I don't know if any of them are shorted, and I don't really want to put 240 straight into them, as they may have to reform, etc. I don't want to cause any damage or make something go bang if I don't have to. The only marked transistor is a Hinel EB204. Now, if that's a date code, that's 0047, so that would be the 47th week of 2000. So it's possible that it was replaced that long ago, because the rest of them are unmarked. I cannot see a marking on any of them. I don't know what they are. I know they're just normal BJTs. I know that it's not a MOSFET amplifier or anything like that, but I know it's a I don't know if they're 2N3055s, which was pretty common for the era, or something similar, or even MJ 15001s or something. But we'll just power it up as is. I haven't got a speaker connected. My speakers are under there, and I really couldn't be bothered digging them out right now, because they're the only speakers that I've got that I can plug into this thing at the moment. I've actually got some cables there which are part of the Autotech amp, which have XLR to speak on, which will match my speakers and this amplifier. So, and I've got to make sure, I've got to see, because I'm pretty sure these are wired with pin. Let me have a look. Oh no, that's fine. The speaker outputs are pin 3 positive and 1 and 2 are negative, so that's fine. That's exactly the same. And that's the same way these are wired. So we're just going to power it up, see what happens, and then we'll take it out of the case and we'll have a look. I'll see you in a bit. Okay, I've got it plugged in. So we're hooked up to there, so it's not live at the moment, so we're going to turn it on. We're on, and we're switched to, oops, a bit washed out by the light there. The switch on the left bypasses the globe, and that switches for the socket, so we'll turn that on. And we've got nothing. Let's turn the amp on. And it came up bright for a second there, and then it went dull, and it's gone down pretty dim now. It probably looks brighter on the camera, plus I've got the... Let's have a look. If you can see it, it is on. It's not drawing a lot. So I'd be fair to say it'd be safe to put 240 to, but I won't do that till I've got a speaker connected. But for now, let's take it out of the case and see what happens. We haven't got any smoke or any funny smells or sounds, so we'll switch it off and we'll take it out of the case and have a look. We'll be right back. Okay, we're back and we're out of the case. Now, the front confuses me as we've got one VU meter, which is fine. We've got one VU meter, sorry about that delay, right there, and we've got, let's get it to focus. There we go. So we've got a VU meter, and we've got a meter that's just graduated from 0 to 3. Is that an ammeter or something? Or is it maybe measuring speaker current? Who knows, but that's a VU meter, and it appears that that's what it's for, is there's a little 741 based preamp or driver board, you know, on the back of the meter there. We've also got 5 fuse holders, but only a couple of them are hooked up. We've got one mains fuse holder, which is fusing the incoming neutral, which isn't great, and this one here looks like, from what I traced out, is fusing the speaker output, probably to provide, you know, speaker overcurrent protection in the event of a either in the event of overdriving the amplifier, a short in the speaker or cable, or in the event of DC going to the speakers due to a fault in the amplifier. And the other fuse holders, I think, are just filling holes. When I first saw this amp, I thought maybe it was stereo. I figured maybe there was a mains fuse and then 2 fuses, one pair for each channel. Each channel's rails, for positive and negative rails, and I thought maybe, okay, there's two amps in there, and there's 2 fuses for each rail, and then a mains fuse for the whole lot, for the incoming mains power. Well, let's have a look inside. I'll just zoom out a little bit. Okay, it's not working, whatever. Okay, so we've got a main board on the back, our main board with our 2 driver transistors there, well, 4 actually. There's 4 transistors there, so that means it must be a Darlington. I'm guessing it's a Darlington setup, so it's not a quasi-complementary, it's probably a push-pull complementary. We've got a Ferguson PF 3783 transformer with a build date of 1275, which is stamped in a little inaccessible location around the side. Then we've got a power supply board. We've got 4 Elner, 4,000 microfarad? Yep, 4,000 microfarad, so we've got 8,000 per rail. And we've got some miscellaneous electrolytics there. I think we've got some we've got main, we've got probably the higher power bridge rectifier here, made up of discrete diodes, and then we've got 2 over here, which are probably just supplying, with 2 there, it'll be a full wave supply, not a full bridge, but a full wave rectified supply, probably for either the meter, probably maybe for the meter board. That could also be a preamp, I suppose, but I haven't fully traced this out yet. But I'm pretty sure this is just driving the meter, so it could be for that. I haven't fully traced this board out yet. So you've got the board there, and then that one on the back, it has Phantom. I don't know if you can see it there, right there in the middle of the screen. That's the back side of it. That's where it's written Phantom, and I can't see anything else. And they've gone to ways to make it serviceable. The pot there for setting either the offset or the quiescent current is or the bias is they've got a hole in the chassis right there where you can adjust it without removing it from the case, although you still have to do, well, I suppose it just makes it easier to get to because you can't really get to it. Excuse me. I'm pretty sure I sneeze in every video I do. And you can see I haven't cleaned this thing out yet. Everything's just wired between. Now it's been pretty well run. Like it's all got like wire lacing. I don't know what they use for that, for the wire lacing. It looks like very small wire actually. Either that or plastic, like a plastic filament, or maybe rubber bands. But it hasn't gone all. No, it's not. It's some sort of lacing by the looks of it. I'm not too familiar with that sort of thing. And then you can see the back of the inputs and outputs there, and the power input. You've got the transformer, 3 unused fuse holders, 2 used, and the rest there. So it'll be interesting to see how this thing sounds. I'm quite keen to see how it goes. It's only I just bought it out of curiosity, to be honest, because it was just odd. And even if I don't reuse this amplifier itself, I've got a nice Tolex covered case which is worn, which I do like this look. Like obviously if it was completely shagged, probably wouldn't use it, but it's a good case that looks like it's done work, and I prefer that over fresh brand new stuff, especially for my disco setup where I want it to look like it gets used. I don't want it to look like it's a showpiece. I mean, my speakers and all that, they're pretty fresh because I recarpeted them to sort of match each other, and the amp rack of course, and my lights, as you can see under here. But I don't baby them. I obviously don't throw them around either, but I'm not worried if the aluminium trims get a scratch on them or the carpet gets a little bit pilled or something. It just looks like it gets used. That's how I feel about it anyway. Anyways, that was the first power up, and there was nothing wrong with it. So in the next video, when I've got some time, probably next week sometime, and I've got to clean a garage, I'm going to pull one of the speakers out, because I don't want to plug 2 in, because they're 4 ohms each per cabinet, and I very much doubt this amp will take a 2 ohm load. 4 ohms is pushing it. I would like to put it into 8 ohms. I could always open up one of the speakers and disconnect one of the woofers, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to plug a 4 ohm load into it and just take it easy. I'll probably plug a SIG-gen into it first, and just first thing I'll do actually before I do any of that is make sure I haven't got DC on the outputs before I plug my speakers in. And providing that passes muster, I'll either plug a SIG-gen in or some music or something, and we'll see how it sounds. We'll see what this thing does, and I'm interested to see what that meter does versus, I mean, this one's pretty self-explanatory, it's a VU meter, but this one, I'm not so sure. Either way, with the 2 spots, I could always try and find either 2 matching VU meters or a matching one for this University brand TD106 VU meter, and put it in there and build a stereo amp into this. Could always do that, but we'll see how we go. And I've got all my fuses there, so don't have to worry about that. The only thing I'll probably add is maybe a level control, maybe in between the VUs or somewhere else, or maybe I just won't worry about it, just have it as a straight, just let the mixer handle levels, let the source handle levels. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and if anyone knows what this module might be out of, or remembers this particular amplifier module, I'm guessing it was an available kit back in the day, but the Phantom there on the other side of the board has me wondering if it's out of a piece of Phantom audio equipment. I've only ever seen another piece by a friend of mine who had an old Phantom powered mixer, I believe, possibly. I think it was a powered mixer. Back in the day, that's the only piece of Phantom equipment I've seen, and funnily enough, it actually had the same power switch. Now, I'm betting these power switches weren't terribly uncommon with the chrome and the red rocker. They're horrendously common, but the fact that it had the exact same switch, maybe it was an old console that was stuffed, and someone's gutted it all and put it into and just put the power amplifier section into its own case to reuse it. Or it'd be interesting to know more about this amp, but unfortunately the guy I got it off of didn't really know much about it. He'd had it for years, and I don't know when it was powered up last, and he didn't supply a lead with it either, so it's fair to say it's probably been lost to time, but that's alright. I've got, as you can see, I've got parts here to make that work. So, and we had nothing blow up, and we had no big bright light indicating that the transformer was shorted, or that the secondary side was loading up on blown up on faulty capacitors, shorted capacitors, etc. And no horrendous short circuits on the output stage. Well, we don't know until we check for DC, but that can being the fact that it looks like it's a direct coupled amp. I don't think there's any there's no capacitive isolation or anything between the speakers and anything like that, so I'm sure if there is DC on it, we're going to see DC at those speaker outputs, but hopefully we don't. And we'll see what this thing can do. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to just power it up, put some music into it, hook up a speaker, and see what she does, providing it passes all the first checks, the initial checks, besides making sure it didn't go up in a puff of smoke, which it hasn't. I wasn't quite game to put it 240 straight to it just yet, but we'll do that another day. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for part 2, and I'll have this thing set up and we'll give it a test. We'll see how it sounds. Thanks for watching guys. Take it easy.